Laser sights increase confidence regardless of experience level, whether you're learning the fundamentals or overcoming aging eyes. Crimson Trace, making laser sights standard equipment. Visit crimsontrace.com to find a dealer near you.
This is Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, now available on iTunes and other podcast clients, and on the free GunDealio smartphone app for iPhone and Android. Feel free to call Tom now at 1-TOM-TALK-GUN or 866-825-5486, or email Tom at guntalk.com. Now, once again, here's Tom.
All right, back with the 866-TALK-GUN, or just dial Tom Talk Gun. My next guest is, he's won just about everything. Normally I would not do this, but I want you to get the full impact of this. Let's just start off with this. Yes, he just won the Bianchi Cup, but he's won more than 70 national championships, 10-time world champion, 18-time Bianchi Cup winner. No one else has won it more than 5 times. Let that sink in just a minute. 5 European Bianchi Cup wins, 20-time Masters International Champion winner, 22-time Sportsman's Team Challenge Open winner, 6-time World Action Pistol Championship winner, achieved more perfect scores, 1920, than anyone in NRA Action Pistol history, 3-time World Speed Shooting Champion Steel Challenge. It goes on and on. Doug Koenig joins us again. Doug, how are you?
I'm doing great, Tom. How are you?
You know, I'm just looking at this, and you're kind of holding on to all these yourself. You know, they tell us that sharing is caring, Doug.
Well, maybe in some facets, but, you know, I'm a competitor to the core, so I put my work in, and I love to compete.
How long have you been shooting, man?
This year is my 30th year. I started in the winter of '86. So
that's amazing, and you're only 27.
Yeah, right. I wish.
No, well, you know, and of course, you turn around and look at them. You got these guys who are young, and they're coming at you all the time. You've got to hear those footsteps now and then.
Well, I do, you know, but I think for myself, I really pride, you know, myself on my preparation, my training, and now, you know, the older I get, you know, to compete with those young guys, you know, I spend, you know, a lot of time in the gym. I mean, I've always tried to stay, you know, pretty fit and eat right, but it gets even more and more critical the older I get. I work harder in the gym and really watch my diet and cut out, you know, caffeine for a couple months, you know, for a match like Bianchi. And, you know, it's my job. I take it super serious.
I know people say, well, you know, how often do you shoot? It's probably, you know, it's probably more than some people know, but it may be less than some people would think because you're doing a lot of other things as part of your preparation.
Exactly. You know, I honestly probably shoot less now than I did, you know, ever. You know, not just because I'm spending time, you know, physically training, working on my mental game, but, you know, being in the industry, I'm doing trade shows and consumer shows and, you know, dealer stuff for my sponsors. So, you know, your time gets eaten up. And plus I've got a family. I've got 3 boys that I got to try to keep track of. And, you know, it's all time. So, I mean, I do get asked often, you know, how much do I shoot? And it's probably between 20 and 30,000 rounds a year. Now, that includes everything, center fire rifle, shotgun, rimfire, which for a professional shooter, that's not really a ton. I mean, there was years, you know, in the heyday where I'd shoot 60 or 70,000 rounds, you know.
You know, I also want to throw out, you talk about your sons. One of the things that I know, if you said, okay, you had your druthers of things to do, it might be hunting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love to hunt. You know, I've been a lifelong hunter, you know, started hunting, you know, before I was a competitive shooter. So it's still a passion of mine. It's still, you know, what kind of brings me back grounded, and it's a great opportunity to be able to take the boys with me, and you know, it's something we can share, you know, forever.
I know that, and I've known you a long time. I've known a lot of top shooters, and I always say that, look, these guys are different. You guys really do, no kidding, start off with some physical attributes. You know, you've got good eyesight. You've got that fast twitch muscle thing going, and you guys are just quick. But beyond that, what does it take to get to the top of the game and to stay there?
Well, I can only speak for myself, but what I feel, you have to have, some, a lot of natural ability. So, that's what I tell people when I started. I got pretty good right away, and just because the concept of shooting, wasn't difficult. You line up the sights, you keep them steady, you squeeze the trigger, don't disturb anything. So that simplification, gets you to a point. But to get into that top 1%, is just a ton of hard work. I mean, there's no getting around it. You're not going to just go shoot 1,000 rounds a year or do a little bit of dry firing and think you're going to go win a national championship. I mean, you have to, again, physically train, mentally prepare, a lot of visualization, things like that. Just work on your mental game. Your equipment, has to be the best. You have to maintain it. You have to really kind of know it inside and out, and you just really have to work your craft and take it serious. Again, for me, my diet's extremely important. Things like everything that I do, eat, sleep, and breathe, during the competitive season, is shooting. It's preparing, to win a match, whether it's getting ready for Bianchi or whatever competition I'm going to be, competing in.
All right, you just won your 18th Bianchi Cup. No one else has ever won it more than 5 times. Tell me about this last one you just won, not how you won it. What part of it did you go, oh, man, I screwed that up?
Well, I mean, it's kind of crazy because I'm not sure if you're aware, Tom, but last year was the first year of the new format. So up until then, we'd all shoot the match, one time through. The match would start on a Wednesday. You shoot Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and for the open shooters, we'd always end on the mover, and that pretty much would decide the champion. Well, last year we all shot the match, and then they took the top 16 in open, and then the top 4 in the other division. So a total of 32 shooters. We shot the whole match again, and they did it as an aggregate. So both your scores that you shot, the 3 days and the finals on Saturday, counted as an aggregate for the champion. Now this year, they kind of did it different. We all shot again through, but your first time through was just basically a seeding or a qualification round. So you just, for me, you just needed to make the top 16. And then Saturday, we shot the whole match again with a clean slate, and for the championship. And the first time through, I had a little equipment glitch, and it cost me a couple points on the mover, and I was disappointed in that. And I was just a little sloppy all around. I don't know if it was the fact that I knew we were just trying to qualify and the pressure wasn't on as much. And I think over the years, that pressure, helps me shoot my best. I kind of get up for that, after doing it for so many years.
Sure.
And, Saturday I was pretty fortunate and happy just to say, hey, we're all starting from scratch and get to come in here and just try to start putting, a great match together. And, it really worked out. I shot solid on all 3 stages, and we ended on the mover. They have 2 movers side by side now, and they have us pared down from 16, 15 all the way to 1 and 2, and that's the order we shot. And I just happened to put together a great mover at the end and shot all X's at 25 yards, and won by 3 X's. So it was pretty exciting.
You got lucky for the 18th time in her. That's just amazing how that works out.
It is.
All right, question for you. Would you advise a youngster who's wanting to get into this to actually try to become a professional shooter?
Well, I mean, I got it. It's a tough question to answer, but I mean, it's a great sport. It's a great hobby, obviously, but as a sport, it's really awesome. I mean, but it is difficult. There's only a handful of us that do it full time as a professional. I mean, I think if you were to go into it and have maybe another job and this would be a sideline and just kind of see what happens, I think it's great. I mean, it's been great to me. The industry's been great to me. But I kind of look at it from my standpoint. It was, the right time, the right place, and, won some matches early and kind of got a good foothold in things. And, I continue to work hard for my sponsors, but it's a tough road. I mean, it's not, percentage-wise, it's not like some other sports where there's, hundreds and hundreds of professional athletes in that sport. We just have a handful. It's difficult, but a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really is. And, of course, I've been watching you do this for a long time. We go way back. Doug, congratulations. That is just a wonderful, wonderful achievement, and you are a fabulous ambassador for the shooting sports.
Well, thank you.
All righty. Well, good luck with the rest of the season, and I know you're already thinking about the hunting season coming up.
Absolutely, I am.
Take care, Doug. All right, Doug Koenig, 18-time Bianchi Cup winner. I mean, you look at this record, it's just breathtaking. He is so good. How do you do it? You simply work hard all the time. All right, looking for your range reports. 866-TALK-GUN. I'm Tom Gresham.
Savage just made the modern sporting rifle better. Available in 4 variations, the MSR-15 Patrol and Recon and MSR-10 Hunter and Long Range, all with 5R rifling for easier cleaning and enhanced accuracy, correct gas system links for reliability and reduced recoil, upgraded trigger system, and corrosion-resistant barrels. Savage MSRs. Better comes standard. See more at savagearms.com or ask your local gun dealer to see the Savage MSR rifles.
If you're like me, you don't have money to burn, but you still want to buy guns, ammo, and accessories. That's why we created GunDealio. That's a free smartphone app. Just download it and start getting the deals. Could be discounts, offers of free magazines for your gun, or you could be the first to hear about new stuff from gun makers. Here's how it works. With GunDealio on your phone, you get alerts when you enter a gun store. Special deals, you know. You don't have to do a thing. It'll do a lot of other cool things, like let you watch gun videos and listen to Gun Talk podcast. Plus, check it anytime for hundreds of deals and offers. Getting more while spending less. Smart, huh? GunDealio. Made in America. Gluten-free. At the App Store and Google Play or GunDealio.com.
Smith & Wesson Performance Center firearms combine old-world hand craftsmanship with modern technology. Carry comfortably and confidently with Performance Center pistols and revolvers. Or take aim with their fine-tuned modern sporting rifles. For unique designs and special features, experienced shooters look to the Performance Center for all their firearms needs. Performance Center by Smith & Wesson. Performance when it matters most. For more, go to smith-wesson.com/PC.
Back with you, Tom Gresham. I mentioned earlier, you may not have caught that. Previous hour, we had a house fire this past week. It was a pretty bad one. House is still there. A lot of the stuff is still there, but a lot of stuff is damaged. We'll be probably out of the house 6 to 12 months doing the ripping out stuff and all of that. Learned a lot in the process, and we'll cover a little bit of that as we go forward, because there were some mistakes that I made going into it, some things that I'd never considered that might have made it better. Don't know, but everybody's okay. That's the main thing. You know, nobody got hurt. I was out of town, unfortunately, but my wife exited call 911, got him in there. And ultimately, that's really the only thing that matters. I mean, it really is. Everybody always says that, but that is so true. It's all. Everything else is just stuff. Mark's on line 4 out of Abilene, Texas. He's got some thoughts on fires. Hey, Mark.
Hello, Tom. I appreciate your show. You do a good job. Keep it up. Since you're on safety today, I was in a fire here, and I learned some things from talking to some of the firemen and people. But one thing with the fire, I believe, is that first off, you don't want it to happen. I think generally between the hours of 11 and 2 a.m. in the morning, because that's when most people are in their deepest sleep cycle rhythms. So it's harder for them to wake up. Number two is I think about half of your house fires start in water heater closets, because people keep phone books and newspapers and plastic bags and everything in their water heater closets around their water heaters. So that's a no-no. Number three, I think this would bear true, that if you're trying to get out of a building that's burning, you want to make the smallest exit hole that you can, and probably as soon as you get out, you want to try to cover that hole up if you can, because I believe that oxygen that's going to be sucked into that building is going to feed the fire even more and destroy more of your your facility. And also, one thing I was told, if you're in a fire, the first thing you want to do is you want to hit the deck and get your nose and your mouth down as low as you can, because you can have unbelievable temperatures that can just melt your lungs just by the heat, let alone the plastic chemicals and toxicity.
I was just going to say, and the smoke will just knock you out. You just got to get under it. So, and Mark, I agree with you. I would just say that I don't think I'm going to worry about the exit hole when I leave. I'm just getting out. It's basically just run, get everybody out. Look, I appreciate the call, sir. Good information. I get a note from a friend of mine. He says, let me find this thing. He says, okay, he's been through a fire. He says, you can fight a kitchen fire or some other small fire that starts pretty much while you're watching it. Most homes are lost to fires that start when you're not watching. If it has been burning longer than you can tell, get out before the gases get you. Listen to that. Get out before the gases get you. He said, I've had one burn. My plan, after he's had a fire, number 1, get the grandkids out. This is in order of priority. Number 2, get the kids out. Number 3, get the wife out. Number 3 plus, get the guests out. That'd be number 4. Just so you know where you are in priority if you're my guest. He says, and number 5, get out. He says, if there's someone who can quickly drag you out if you are overcome while trying to tackle a small fire, it might make sense. If you are by yourself, make sure you have a clear way to bail out if you start getting groggy. It may be better to just get out. I'm hearing Arnold Schwarzenegger in my head. Get out. Have the conversation with your family all the time. Which door will you go through? How will you get out? Where will we all convene? If there are kids, whose responsibility is who? Talk it out. You think, I don't want to talk about that stuff. It makes me nervous. It makes me scared. So, just do it. You cannot make this, because when it happens, it's happening fast. I mean, as fast as you can run. That's how fast it's happening. All right, line 2, Joe's with us out of Jefferson, Texas. Joe, you're on Gun Talk.
Hey, Tom, how are you today, sir?
I'm great. How can we help you?
I'm kind of a novice as far as the handguns go. I'm looking to buy a Henry calibered in .357 Magnum,
okay,
as well as a Ruger convertible that's calibered .357 Magnum, but also comes with the 9mm cylinder.
Okay.
And my question is it possible to run the 9mm in the Henry rifle as well?
No.
Okay.
And this is why. When you replace the cylinder in the Ruger, you are getting a new set of chambers. And the issue is the length of the case. A .357 Magnum head spaces on the rim. So when you slide the cartridge, a straight wall cartridge in, the thing that stops a .357 Magnum from continuing into the chamber is the rim stops, it doesn't go into the hole. With a 9mm, it's a rimless case. And so you have a chamber in this Henry for the .357, but it's not set up to take a 9, which head spaces on the mouth, the case mouth. That's what stops it from going in, because the chamber is cut just so that the cartridge case itself will only go in so far. So it's a completely different chamber, and it's really about the headspace. So there's no way that I can imagine, I just can't come up with a way to shoot 9mm in your .357 Magnum lever-action rifle.
Okay. Well, that answered my question, and I do appreciate it, sir.
I tell you what you could do. Think about this. There's no reason you can't shoot .38 Special. Little light .38 specials in your .357 Magnum revolver, and now you're going to go lightweight. There's no need to shoot the Magnum loads in there all the time. I'd probably shoot 95% .38 specials to every .357.
I got you. I'm looking at it for the versatility point of view.
Mm-hmm.
2 firearms, 3 different rounds. It's got my interest peaked.
It's amazing our ability to rationalize for the stuff we want, isn't it?
Yeah, if you got a few extra dollars, let's go ahead and drop a little bit and see what we can play with.
All right, what do I say? The three most expensive words are might as well.
That's what I'm saying, boss. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Joe. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't care what it is. If you're doing a renovation or they're doing a little work on your car, and while you're in there, might as well. And like I said earlier, if you're hanging around a gun store, you know what's going to happen. Well, of course, it's why you're hanging around there, right? You're going to end up buying a gun because somebody behind the counter is going to go, hey, you ought to take a look at this. And you walk over and you go, ooh. And now you start feeding each other. Hey, you ought to buy that. Yeah, man, I don't know. Hey, what do you think? Yeah, that's how it happens. That's how it happens. I tell you what, I don't know, Jim, we probably don't have time to get Hugh in before the break here, do we? Yeah, okay, let's do it. He says we can. Line 1, Hugh, Savannah, Georgia. Hugh, I got 1 minute. Fire away, please.
I'll do it. Tom had a fire. 1988, my wife had just left the house. We had a thunderstorm passing over. She'd gone to vote. This was November. Mm-hmm. We heard a pop in the house after the lightning hit. It hit a tree in a neighbor's yard that followed the route, hit my chain link fence, went through my chain link fence to my plumbing in my laundry room, went up the vent pipe, melted the insulation on a wire, caught fire, and fortunately, because I used to run a garage, an auto garage, I had dealings with fire extinguishers, gas fires, oil fires, etc. And I called the fire department, told them that the house was on fire.
Right.
And got it out, and they thanked me very much for not making them have to work too hard.
Hey, Hugh, I'm going to ask you to hold on because I want to talk about a gun that you've got there, and I'm not going to have time. We're going to take a quick break here, but if you'll hold on, we'll come back. We're going to talk a little bit about Colt Python. We'll do that. We'll also have time to talk about, the guns that you want to talk about. If you'd like to join us, 866-TALK-GUN. Also, again, reminding you, ask the people in your family, do you know how to run a fire extinguisher? You'd be surprised how many people don't. There's a really good chance they don't. And also, when we come back, I'll tell you what started this fire. I mentioned it in the previous hour, but I want to make sure that you know. You may have this thing in your house and not know about it, and it has started more than one fire. Sure burned up a lot of our house on Thursday night.
Gun Talk encourages you to support the local sporting goods store, gun stores, ATV dealers, and other local businesses in your area who advertise on this station and Gun Talk. Only together can we protect our rights. You're listening to Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
Oh, we have a lot on our plate today. We are talking about this and that, and all of it's safety related. Safety with guns. Personal protection, certainly I need to talk a little bit about that. Talk about, as it works out, we're talking a little bit about fire. The truth of it is you're probably more likely to have a fire than you are to need your gun for self-defense. Doesn't mean we don't prepare for all of it, but do we prepare well? Clearly I did not. We had a fire Thursday night, lost a good bit of the house. My wife did not know how to run a fire extinguisher. That's my fault. I never showed her. Never thought to ask. She was standing right there. There's a fire extinguisher literally at her foot. And probably could have put the fire out quickly. Who knows? But, failing that, she did the right thing. She took off running, called 911. And everybody says, hey, that's good. And the fire department says that's exactly what you should do. Because they know. They've seen people get caught. And they know how fast it happens. It happens so fast. That was where her comment. She said it was just so fast. Just get out. Run and get the kids. Get the grandkids. Get out of the house. Don't worry about the rest of the stuff. Make sure you have good insurance. Might be a good thing. We're talking with Hugh, and he wanted to tell me also about his favorite revolver. Hugh, tell me about this.
I don't know. I think I mentioned that I used to run a car garage, and this was back in the mid to late 70s.
Okay.
A guy was passing through, and I think he was from New Jersey or Maryland or right up in that area. And he blew a head gasket. So we told him what it was going to cost. He said, well, I don't have any money, but I have this. And he showed me a revolver. My assistant service manager used to work for the police department, and he said, Hughes, that gun is worth the repair. So anyway, it turned out to be an incredible nickel-plated 6-inch barrel Colt Python.
Oh, man, that is one of my favorite revolvers in the world.
Tom, you've been talking about revolvers of recent, and so I took it out about 3 weeks ago, went to a friend of mine's farm. He has his own skeet range, own trap range, and a long-distance range.
That's a good friend.
And I took it out. Yeah. I was about 20, 21 yards away from the metal targets. I was sitting at a table. I was resting the butt of the handle, I guess you'd say, on the table. I didn't have a sandbag or anything. I first started with 38 special. Shot 2 targets. I filled the black with the 38 specials. Then I put some wad cutters, 357 wad cutters in there. I had not shot this gun in 2 years. And I filled the black with the wad cutter. It's the sweetest shooting gun I have ever held in my hand.
It is. We have one of those. I actually, some years ago, I gave it to Ryan, my son. It's a 6-inch barrel, nickel-plated Python, exactly what you're describing. It is just one of the sweetest shooting guns. And, we all think, man, wouldn't it be great if they ever brought it back? And Colt keeps kind of teasing us with, that might be possible. I mean, yeah. But, I mean, they hadn't made it in, 20 years or something. But it's just a great revolver. Now, let me ask you a question, Hugh. We talk about this being the year of the revolver. It's just something I made up. But so many people are pulling out their old revolvers and shooting them. How much fun is that to pull that thing out and just go out to the range with it? Well,
it's heavy. It's a heavy gun, so it's easy to aim. Even if I was not using a table, I believe I still could have done extremely well with the targets.
Right.
Even though I'm 70 years old, and I shake a little more than I used to, but I still believe I could have done it. It is such a nice pistol. The recoil is minimal because of the weight of the gun.
Right.
You can get back on target in seconds or tenths of seconds. It's an incredible firearm.
Well, it is, and I appreciate you sharing that story. That is a great story. By the way, that thing has gone up in price. The value of Pythons in general, but particularly that one you have, that's probably, if it's in good shape, that's probably a $3,000 gun these days. Yeah,
the only flaw that it has is there was a tiny little chip on the handle, not the gun, but on the handle, and less than a quarter the size of a pencil eraser. Right. So that was the only flaw when I got it, and that's the only flaw it still has now.
I'll be darned. Well, that's not much of a flaw. Again, thank you for that story, and go out and shoot that gun some more. I know it's just a great gun, and I love those revolvers. Tell you what, Derek, don't go anywhere. We're going to get to you. If you'd like to join us, if you're listening right now and you're thinking, hey, I got a story I want to tell, well, give us a call. All we're doing is swapping stories here. 866-TALK-GUN. I'm Tom Gresham.
For more than 70 years, Timney Triggers has been enhancing the shooter's experience. Whether it's a local competition, a day at the range, or even the hunt of a lifetime. Setting the standard in aftermarket triggers, Timney is now producing more than 170 models of triggers for bolt-action rifles, shotguns, AR rifles, and semi-automatic rifles. Proudly made in the USA since 1946. Find your new trigger at TimneyTriggers.com.
Responsible owners control access to their firearms, even when they may need them in a hurry. Liberty Safe, the nation's leader in gun safes, offers 6 models of handgun vaults. Strong, simple to use, open with a key or fingerprint. Put your handgun in the compact vault, lock it away until you need it. Then it's in your hand almost instantly. Pick the Liberty Safe handgun vault that's right for you. LibertySafeHD.com.
Attacks happen every day. How will you react? See real people put into real-life criminal attack situations on First Person Defender. Discover what works and what doesn't. Kidnapping, ATM robbery, home invasion, and other attacks. Learn how to save your life and the lives of your family. Get the entire first season on DVD at shopguntalk.com. Get prepared. Shopguntalk.com.
It's America's favorite .22 rifle. No matter how, where, or what you like to shoot, there's a Ruger 1022 for you. From the carbine to the incredible takedown models, the tactical and target versions, all Ruger 1022 models have a legendary action and detachable 10-round rotary magazine. Whether you're hunting squirrels or tin cans, there's a lifetime of fun in every Ruger 1022 rifle. See them all at Ruger.com. That's Ruger.com.
So what are you buying these days? It's just crazy what's going on with the market right now. And, it's this weird culmination of a lot of different factors, and it's definitely temporary. But, wow, what a great time. Derek is taking advantage of that. He's on line 3 out of Madison, North Carolina. Derek, what in the world have you done?
Yes, Tom, the great enabler has struck again. I was at a gun show last weekend and came across a pretty good deal on some stripped AR lowers. And I passed it by because I didn't really need it. But after I walked away, I just kept hearing your voice in the back of my head. And if you don't buy it now, you'll regret it later.
Well, I was already going to give you a hard time for using the N-word, need. Need has nothing to do with it.
True.
Oh, gosh. So what'd you get?
It was a Anderson strip lower for an AR.
Nice. All right. How much did you have to spend?
It was $40 out the door.
Oh, my gosh. Is that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
$40 for a strip lower? I mean, you can't stay home that cheap. You just got to buy it, man.
That's right. I have absolutely no use for it right now, but I was like, hey, something may come up later.
You're my kind of guy. I buy something you have absolutely no use for. You didn't really plan on buying it in the first place, but there it is, and you go, well, I guess. You know what? Might as well. So what are you going to do with it? What are you going to build?
I don't know. Right now, I'm probably just going to stick it in the back of the safe.
Now, do you already have an AR? You already have an AR, right?
Yes.
All right. Do you have a 300 Blackout?
I do. But I have thought about a 300 Blackout pistol. I don't.
Ooh. And now you can do the arm brace thing to your pistol, which makes it a quasi SBR.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just playing with ideas here. A 300 Blackout pistol with the arm brace on it, with a can on it.
And I have a can.
Yeah, now we're talking. Okay, I'm right there with you, man. I'm marching in lockstep. I'm liking where you're going with this. Probably, I'm thinking, so what barrel length would you go with?
I really don't know. Probably maybe a 10-inch or so.
Yeah, I would tend toward the 10. I think they run a little bit better with the 10 than the little shorter ones. Well, that's very cool. Look, I appreciate the range report on that. That is sweet. $40. That's great. All right, let's go to line 2. Denny, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Denny, what's on your mind today?
Well, Tom, you were talking earlier about the differences between a double-action revolver and the way it operates versus an automatic pistol. Mm-hmm. You mentioned sweeping the trigger of a revolver versus just pressing the trigger of the automatic pistol. Mm-hmm. I ran into a gun show a few years ago that was made by FN for police. It's called the FN 49er. Mm-hmm. Called that because they made it in 40 caliber and 9 millimeter. And it's double action only for every shot. So it's a 16-shot clip, but you have to sweep the trigger every time. In other words, you have to. It's basically like a revolver that has the features of an automatic as far as bullet capacity and all that. Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard of that gun, or have you ever had a double action only automatic pistol?
Actually, I do have one. It's a Smith 3953. It's a single stack 9mm. They made a 3913 that was single action, double action, DASA, but this one is a DA only, and it is exactly as described. The trigger pull is like a double action revolver, and you have to sweep it back each time. I think those were primarily designed for police departments that were switching from revolvers to semi, and they didn't want to have to try to retrain people to the double action, single action trigger pull. But I got one simply because, and this is, 20, 25 years ago now, I was thinking this might make a really good carry gun. And at the time, that was where I was comfortable, and it's what I got. And the trigger pull is awfully good. I mean, it's a good double-action trigger pull.
Well, I find that I have much more accuracy with this pistol than any of my other automatic pistols.
That's interesting.
If for some reason, when you're bearing down on a target, looking through the sights, it just lines up about the time you hit the release point. Every time. I'm guessing that the idea also of it being for police is that it makes you have controlled shots. You're not as likely to just, rapid fire. You're going to control each shot, which is probably what they want policemen to do.
Could be.
Anyway, it's a great gun, and I was just wondering, does anybody make new ones like that?
I am trying to remember.
It's not that way, is it?
I want to say that there was, it may have been a SIG. One of the modern guns came as, you have options of a DASA or a single action or even a DA only. But, I'm absolutely pulling a blank right now. I'll tell you what, let's ask for some help. Who is making a DA only semi-auto these days? I mean, and I'm not talking about striker fire, not the same thing at all. We're talking about that long double action pull. Danny, if you'll just keep listening, we'll see if we can find somebody, because somebody's got to know, or somebody can look it up better than I can while I'm doing this. SIG Legion, maybe. Michelle saying maybe the SIG Legion. I'm thinking that the SIGs were available that was one of the configurations. But without looking it up, I'm just not sure. I guess the question is, if you had the option of a double action only semi-auto, would you buy it? And if so, what would be the motivation? Some people say, well, I like the double action, single action because, I want that long first trigger pull to maybe prevent me from stumbling into the trigger. Well, if that's the case, then my argument would be if you are accurate enough to shoot that first shot with a double action pull, why not just maintain it? Now you're not having to shift to a completely different kind of trigger pull. You go from a 12 or 15 pound trigger pull to a 3 or 4 pound trigger pull, and that requires some adjustment. So I don't know. It's Jim saying, why would a police department want a DA only? Well, if they were switching from revolvers where they're shooting those double action, it would be a big training jump to go to a single action or a DASA, a double action, single action, semi-auto. So I don't know. Training, of course, is the big deal. And frankly, from a police department standpoint, a lot of times the training is more expensive than the guns. If they have to, the transition from revolvers to semi-autos was huge. In a lot of places, they didn't do a great job of doing the training and suffered some problems with negligent discharges and such. So when you change guns, you got to go through a full training regimen, and that's expensive for a lot of these departments. So maybe, I don't know, that may be the case. So I see we got a call from Don. We'll get to him. Don, don't go anywhere. We're going to get to you right after the break. He's got an idea for us on a DA-only semi-auto. It sounds weird, doesn't it? DAO. Double action only semi-auto. But they're out there, and some people really, I like that 3953 Smith of mine. Thing shoots probably better than I do, but then don't they all? All right, back with you. Line 3, Don is in Lewiston, Idaho. Hey, Don, which one do you think of here? A double action only?
Well, you'd asked that, and I just instantly popped into my head one I've got, a little bitty SIG 290 subcompact.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice little piece of equipment.
Do you carry that gun?
Quite often.
Good deal. Okay,
yep.
Thanks, Todd. That's what I had not even thought of that, the 290 SIG. Bob's got an idea on line 1 out of Tulsa. Hey, Bob, what are you thinking of?
Well, the first Beretta I ever bought was a 96G, and it was double action only. And I have nothing against the double action. I can shoot pretty well with that. But when you go through your first training class and you shoot a couple thousand rounds, you better take some Band-Aids if you're shooting a double action only pistol.
It is true. You will wear a hole in something. You're going to be bleeding on your. Not that I haven't bled on my gun before from sharp edges and everything else, right?
Well, this wasn't sharp edges. This was just wear and tear on the skin.
Yep. It'll sure do it. All right. Good thought. Thank you for the call. I also get a text coming in from Jason over at Lipsy's, and God, he ought to know. He says, some double-action guns commercially available, Ruger LCP, HK P30 LEM, and the SIG DAK DAK trigger. Excellent. Man, I should always just say, hey, Jason, what are the answers here? Guy knows. I mean, the guys at Lipsy's are so sharp, and Jason's the one who's cobbling up all these cool special guns. If you haven't gone over there, take a look at Lipsy's. There are these great distributors like Lipsy's, Galleria Guns. Lipsy's is Lipsy. I have to look it up. Anyway, you can find us. Look up Lipsy's distributor. They're a firearms distributor. Galleria Guns, Davidson's. They come up with these special guns that they work with these manufacturers to create guns that you can't buy regularly. It's a different barrel, it's different configurations, different grip, it's a different whatever. And they work with, might be Smith, might be Ruger, might be whomever, and Glock and some others. And you look at their website and you're going, well, I never heard of that before. Well, I know, because it's not in that manufacturer's catalog. It's a special thing available only through that distributor. But here's the cool part. Your gun store can order it for you, because your gun store orders from distributors, firearms distributors. So you can say, well, I want that flat dark earth Glock. I want that thing that my buddy doesn't have. I mean, come on, get real. That's what it's all about, right? So you can certainly do that. All right, real quick, we're going to get Ryan in here on line 3 out of Bossier City, Louisiana. Ryan, don't have much time, so dive in, please.
Yeah, I was just going to comment about the double-action-only pistols. I know that SIG makes a couple of different models. They have, the regular double-action-only and also the DAK trigger system, which is kind of different. The second shot is double-action, but it's got a little bit lighter pull.
Mm-hmm.
So It's just kind of a unique system. Yeah, DAK, the DAK trigger.
Right, exactly. All right, Wayman, line 2. I've got 30 seconds. Give me the 2 that you got listed here.
Okay, Kel-Tec P11, semi-auto, 3-inch barrels, double action only. If you use a model 59 Smith & Wesson magazine, it'll give you 5 more rounds. Oh. And I use a Handgun Junior, so you'll have 3 fingers below the grip. And I've had them for years.
Hobby son of a gun. Great idea. Thank you, sir. That was perfect. And you got it in on time. That was super. All right, don't go anywhere. When we come back, where we talk about some very cool guns that you may not have heard about. Some interesting stuff for the guys that brought us the binary firing system, where you shoot your AR. It fires when you pull the trigger, and it fires when you release the trigger. And they have some other cool stuff we got to tell you about. Our number, 866-TALK-GUN. We're still looking for your range reports. I'm Tom Gresham, and this is Gun Talk.